anybody, Blender Pretender here with another video for this bicycle. This is where I left off in the last video. This will be the, I think it's the 11th video or 12th, I don't know. But you can check out the previous videos where I did this object right here, which is the chain guard. And so this is the reference photo. For this video, I think I'm going to tackle the lock. By the way, this is in the camera view, so I give myself, you know, kind of like comparable views. So I think the camera should be in a junk layer to move to the 0. So the lock is somewhere over here. I do have some reference images here as well, but I don't think any of these are going to be one that helps me for the lock. So let me see. I'm going to open some of the images. I think it's in the correct directory for the references. Let me just, first of all, let me save it and then do the file save as, my backup file save as. I added some materials for it for the thumbnail too, so that's why there's a difference in the I'm just gonna try to get my screens back to where they were. So I try to give myself some real estate and then do a thumbnail, and then I started assigning materials, but I'm going to delete those and then maybe dedicate one video for the materials. Anyways, what was I getting at here? I need to wrong panel, buddy. I was going to do the screencast keys. I was already scrolling down over here to find the keys. So am I displaying? Here they are. They're displaying. Okay. So back to the keys. I'm just organizing here a little bit. We're going to work mostly in this window, but now in this window, I'm going to open, and I want to make sure, okay, file, save as. Back to the first one, because I opened the keys. Otherwise, it'll dump the keys thing. Anyways, open. Let me get the thumbnails, and let me see which ones are they. So let me try. Let me try that one. Let me try that one right there. Open the image. Okay, that one actually has a lock, but it's rotated for some reason. This one is rotated. I wonder, I've never looked into seeing if I can rotate images in. So if I go N and T, see if it's got a rotation property for these. Aspect ratio. Never really looked into it, actually. Tiles enemy. Well, I can deal with it. As a reference, I can deal with it here because I'll just do the mental gymnastics to rotate it. If I were to go into the paint, I don't think I can select it all and rotate it. So here's in the view, and here's the image. So it's give me tile clamped, UV mapping. Okay, I'm just gonna have to deal with it like this. The other one is, it's a good view of the lock. But let's see. Yeah, they're gonna be rotated too. They're rotated probably because I took them with the phone. So as you rotate the phone, sometimes I get funny things happening with the phone. So there's another lock. I want to use that one right there. And it's also rotated, but it shows the underside. So there is something that needs to be added to the frame here to connect and hold on to that lock. It's not completely symmetrical because it has the this locking mechanism here. But that's what I'm gonna proceed from. So I got those two reference images. I can always try to, let me get rid of these panels. I can always try to just open them up in a separate window, which is what I can do over here. Let's see. And for example, I'm going to have this one on from this side that I can drag in, and then I can always look at the details in this one. Back to Blender here. So T, I always like to have that one, that little window going here. Excuse me. going to make that window smaller. I can always just go back over here when I need to look at the details there. I'm going to look into seeing if there's a way to rotate images within Blender when they come in like that. If not, then I'm stuck using like Windows or some other software to rotate them. Okay, so let me get more space here for when I need to. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let me get rid of that because it bugs me a little bit, and the wireframe. There, okay, so what I'm going to do, since I'm lazy and I still have the modifier, sorry, Control 3, I still have the modifier applied on this one. I'm just going to do the same thing that I did, which is, let me see, I'm on the faces. I'm just going to copy that face right there and start from that one. Okay, Shift Duplicate, P Selection, Tab. So there it is right there. I'm going to go into the wireframe, tab into it, Control 0, because this one has the two modifiers on there. Has the mirror and the other one. So select the face. I'm going to make sure I'm in the center right there, and using the global, I'm going to do Scale X0. So now it's a flat face out here somewhere that I can start working with. So back in this view, I can grab it. Now I wonder, I'm trying to remember, did I set a, let me go back to the transform orientations here. I'm wondering if I have something that follows this rear fork. There it is. So I do have one that follows the rear fork, right? So I'm gonna vertices, those, scale XX0, right? I'm going to take those two again, scale XX0, grabbing that one with the snaps there. So now I have a plane that pretty much follows the fork. The image, the reference image, you can see it's a little off, but I'm going to follow the fork. So I'm going to just give it the best. So it looks like there's a, let me get rid of the snaps. So it looks like there's a break here. That's what we need this. So it's not a break, it's like a little curve. Okay, so, but that's what we're going to start with. When I say we, I mean me. Okay, I've got my keys and everything, and I'm going to narrate because I've gotten used to it now. Yeah, because I don't have any new music. I was actually going to try to see if I can make new music this weekend, you know, get more experimental. I actually talked to somebody that's a musician, and you know, they used to play in a band a long time ago, and now they but it was like a Mexican music band, but which is still good music, but you know, I was asking him if he could play outside that genre, and he's like, yeah, let me try. So I haven't talked to him. I'm going to spend the time right now just doing this, but you know, see if he can bring in some other music. Okay, so that's that. I'm just gonna extrude it and make a touch. We have the clipping, so X face. Do I have it? So it would have clipped and it would have the face. So in the E, I can still grab that one. And yeah, it's clipping and everything in the vertices. I got that one. So there you go. It's a square. Done. No. Let's see. I need to hide some stuff. So I need the wheel. It's getting busy, right? So tab. I'm going to take the frame. No, I need the fender. I don't even need the wheel. The wheel, only when I need to bring it up. So I'm going to use the frame, the fender, and this. So I can look at these more clearly. Excuse me. I hope that doesn't come all the way through. I'm trying to, as far as the recording too, the audio gets kind of distorted, I guess, because I have to clean it up because I don't have a sound studio. Control R. So I'm going to put a loop like right about there where it goes up, because we're going to do a little up thing coming down like this, and we have when I say we, I mean me. I have already the box. You know what? Let me go to the top view just to get an idea more or less how much it projects out. If I look at this one, I mean, just as a guess, proportionally, it'll probably be double. So it'll be double the distance from here. Can I use the grease pencil here? Yes, I can. The distance here. And then I can always do white on the grease pencil. Like here. I think it's here, right? No. Don't you do the grease pencil layers down here is the color. There. So distance here is probably the same as the distance of the wheel. So let's say it's 3 times with the space in between the thickness of the wheel. So I'm just going to guess it to be like that. So here's the fender. It has to get around the fender. So I'm just going to... Now, I don't like that it's all highlighted because I selected them all. So I'm going to tab out, select it, and tab in again. Now they're not highlighted anymore. There's a function for that. I still haven't figured out why. You know, because I can be in here and then select. You know, sometimes like I do a shift select. I don't know how it happens. Sometimes shift select and it selects the object that's in object mode. And there's a reason for it, a function for it. The only one I've ever actually found out is the knife project. When you take one object and you project it onto another one in the edit mode. I can explain that later. Okay, so back to this. I'm just guessing that about this is kind of like equal to this, and then I could put a, you know, put enough, a little bit more. No, sorry. So box select, just to go a little bit more, right there. It's starting to look a little fat. See how that looks. Okay. These can come down a little bit like that. And so can these. Let me save it for a second. Okay. I kind of lost my train of thought. I took a little break there just to clear my throat. Have to learn how to, you know, be better at this. Okay, yes, I was extruding these. So back to the faces. Oops, no, I said I was going to keep this plane, even though it looks off from the reference photo. So back to the vertices. Let me just, I might have others selected. So therefore I toggle the A. So these are gonna get closer here. And I'm just gonna guess this. Yeah, you need some room to move that lock, right? So back to the 3. Okay, so that lock is gonna come out. I can't see it, but it's gonna come out to about here. So it could kind of get in the way. So I'll just leave it. I go Control 3 just to see what it starts looking like in terms of a shape. Not very good, huh? Control Z. What did I just do? I undid. Control 3. Sorry. Back to the tab. So I'm going to start doing what I do, which is these edges right here. Let me start creasing them. Increase the crease. So it starts looking like that. This one needs to be creased too. So it starts looking like that. Okay. Now time to look at the reference. How curvy is it? It's kind of curvy too. So I'm going to need some loop cuts in here so where I can draw this out. It's kind of curvy, but not that much, huh? That's because I can use the edges. This edge, sorry, probably should be more this way. And that one should be more that way. there might need to be more curve. There, not really, that's good enough. It's just a lock. If it's not exact, who cares? This edge down here, there, that one, need to increase the crease. Control 3. Oh, what happened? Oh, I undid my extrude. That's what I did. So got rid of the crease. Control 0. Back. I'm in the Z. In the wireframe. I did something. Oh, I Control 3. That's lame. When you do an undo in object mode, it undoes, it's almost like little mini sessions of editing. And then when you do an undo in object mode, it does undoes what you did in that session from tabbing in and tabbing out. It kind of almost seems that way. So, wrong key. Just gonna eyeball it. It's about the same distance there it is off here. And then this one should be pretty much look flat. From that point over here. Oh, I'm going to exaggerate this one a little bit. There. Okay. Maybe some of this. So before I go and undo everything, I'm going to save. Again, Control 3. So let me get these edges here. I don't need a crease on those. I do need a crease on these. There. Okay. So now it's starting to look the shape. Let me get my reference, the one that's off to the side here. So there's, there's this curve. So the hollow is also curving. What seems to be curving following the wheel. Let me see what my references here look like. Likewise. Okay. What was the other one? I think it's that one. Yeah, then we need the support in that little box that's down here. There's also, you can barely see the green support right there. Thick line. Okay. It looks like it needs to be farther out. Like that far, so that I could start curving it. Let me see how I'm going to deal with the curve. So it starts here, so maybe just by grabbing these, well, which is really these. I'm working on this angle, but it's, the modifier is applied different. I need some room, so it looks like it curves. I'm looking at the reference while I'm doing this. It looks like it curves, so it's fully, at this point, I would have the gap, the gap that goes into the wheel. Because of the modifier, this is being dragged a little bit, so I may need to grab these and move them out a little bit. And maybe even bring them down further so it looks more round. And that being the case, then I'm going to erase this face altogether. Let me put a loop right. You can barely see, but there's a loop right there. Alright, now back to the vertices. In the unsubdivided view. I'm going to bring them closer. And make the face there. Let me just take these faces and delete them. Alright, in terms, yeah, that doesn't look very good. I can't really make out what I'm looking at, so I'm going to go to this preview here. So probably I need another loop here, so I can get rid of some of those faces there and there. Okay, now I'm going to go to the edge mode and select that edge, move them up a little bit, up. Go to the wireframe and select that one too, and that one too. There. That's clear enough. So, with these edges selected, oh, selected everything. No. I'm just going to use a shift. It's just 3 edges. Did I get the shift? Did I get them or not? Let me go to the wireframe. I got them. And then these 3, right? Control E and bridge them. Now I'm going to delete these middle, I guess, bridging edges, I guess you would call them. I'm going to leave that one there, and I'm going to crease it, see what it does. I think I need to crease these up here as well. There. So there. Sorry about that. That's just, I can't pause the video over and over again. Okay, so that's, it looks a little skinny to me. But let me see in the side view. It looks skinny because it still doesn't have the top one here. So I'm going to add the top one. How am I going to do that? Let me see. How am I going to do that? There's this one needs, so I'm going to add a loop. What's going on? Control R. Boom. And add a loop right there, which looks like it's pretty much where it should be, but I'm still gonna drag it a little bit more. Right there. Now, with the faces selected, with these faces selected, I'm gonna do the eye. A little bit, a little bit, a little bit, if I were to grab it up. Yeah, because of this modifier thing, or maybe just because of the user error, right? Nope, and take that, and just run them in there, and they're clipped already. Okay, so back to the edges so I can get an idea what I'm doing, so I can get a look. It looks like it's what I'm supposed to do. This one also is very sharp, but these are not. This needs to more or less follow the curve. So how do I get this to run into this, right? How do I get it? And that's the other thing. I guess the thought is that always try to keep the quads, but one of the things I can do right there is take that one and with the V, right, just separate it and then fill in a triangle in here. And let's see how that looks, and see if it creates a mess in here when it's ready to be previewed. I'm gonna go to that view right there in the wireframe, and then just move it right around there. Now this is the subdivided view, so I have no idea what I'm doing right now with the like in this view, right? I could be really totally just distorting the vertices. See that vertex right there? I lost that one. I didn't get it for some reason. So grab Shift ZZ and then snap it to that one so it's straight with those, and back to the divided preview in this view right here. These should be in the same alignment, and they are. Oh, see, what happens is that this makes it look bulgy. It makes it look like it bulges. Because what I do need that crease as well. I don't need these. But, okay, let's just try to take it one little step at a time. Grab it and move it back in there. Right? Let me see how I can do this. Again, triangles are the enemy, right? Because when you apply the modifiers, it wants to pinch. Maybe other things. Also, when you do loop cuts and everything, it really wants to go with the quads. I wonder if that's backwards in the normals. It's not. It's just looking like that because I have a empty face right here. So I'm going to select, what I'm selecting right now is this bottom portion, this where it comes together. And let me see how I can do that. I can separate them and then bridge them, but instead of doing that, I'm gonna see, I hope I don't get into trouble. I'm just gonna bevel them quick because something's happening weird here. When the bevel does that, I wonder if I have like reversed normals. I don't think so. They look right, and I can always check. They look right. Every single one of them. So let me go to the 0 view. Control B. See what's happening. It's happening normally. It's just that it has that gap. It's what's happening. Anyways, the reason I did that is because I'm going to take that face and delete it. Go into the vertices, snap that one. I want to make sure I have that. So now I have a quad face here, and I just select it and put F. Okay, back to the... So what I was going to do, the other option that I was going to do is just use the V for ripping them, lift them up a little bit on their axes, and then do a bridge. But that's fine. This works fine. And so these are the triangles where it goes to nothing. Sometimes you gotta have something like that. I mean, they gotta go to nothing, right? They have to meet somewhere. Okay, Control 3. Let's see how that looks. Something odd's happening here and here. Is it because of the creasing? I think it's because of the creasing. Once you do the bevel, you don't need that. So I'm gonna go with the edges. These edges right here, and then just decrease the crease all the way. Okay, now that looks funny. Futuristic, man. Let me see, back to the wireframe, because this edge right here, which is that one, it needs the crease. That will be fixed when I do the bevel for these creases, so I'm going to ignore it for now, and I'll see if I can clean up some of this corner here. So back to this view, the goal. What's the goal? The goal is to make it look like it's a piece of well, it's not metallic, it's actually plastic, but the plastic is covering a piece of metallic, which is a lock. Let me crease those there. That's getting better. Now with the triangle, who knows how it's going to look once I go and do the thing here. And so if it's pinching, I'm going to have to mess with it. Pinching means that, you know, you can see that even though the faces are smooth, sometimes they still look like they they're not correct. The normals are messed up or something like that. I'm gonna crease these two as well. Oh, so I selected and then I deselected it. Okay. Control save. So I don't want to bevel this, but I want to bevel that, and then we'll see how I smooth that out. And if I can, maybe by adding a loop, if I try to add a loop, it kind of truncates right there, the loop, I think. If I start adding some loops like this, so that I can, you know, maybe lose whatever starts happening here, I could lose some of the stuff that makes it look bad. But right now, I'm going to call that more or less, it looks like a plastic, like, you know, not extruded, but a, what do you call it, a molded plastic thing that goes over the metal that, that is used for the lock. I'm just picking all of these. I can see that they're not in line. I'm going to eyeball it only. Like that. I had the snaps again, just so they look straight. Good enough. It's good enough for Blender Pretender work. There's a saying sometimes you hear people say good enough for government work, and I never understood if that was meant to say that the work for the government is really good, or the work for the government is really bad and we're good enough. Let's just leave it at that. But this is good enough for Blender Pretender work, because I'm just pretending, and ultimately I just want to be able to render this thing. So with this, like this, I think I'm going to apply the modifier. I'm done with the modifier work. Not really. You know what? Not really. I'm going to do the little thing that attaches to the frame, then separate it and add it to the frame. Never mind. I'll just work on the frame directly when I have to do that. Matter of fact, I'll work on it right now. Let me see. First, let me save. What I need is, let me look at the reference photos. It looks like it's a plate. It's probably welded somewhere over here. We can't see, and I don't think I'm going to have be able to see. There's also a support, a little strut support here on the fork. I'm not going to bother with that. So this is just a plate, and you know what? I think I can work better with the faces that are already part of this block than with the faces of the frame. So I'm gonna work with the lock. Still has the modifier, and what I'm gonna do is select. Let's go to the face, select that one, and then duplicate it. Piece selection, tab out. So it's there in the wireframe right there. Now I'm going to go to the undivided one, go into the edit mode with the vertices selected, and drag it out. Well, out enough to catch that, catch the lock. Control. I'm totally just eyeballing it right now. It's just supposed to be something that holds it. Excuse me. So sorry about that. I'm gonna figure out what people do. Not to be so hoarse, right? Not to be so... I don't even know if it comes out. When I do the cleanup for the audio, who knows? Okay, so yes. So extrude it. In this view, I'm gonna go to the wire. Oh, come on! In the wireframe, it's a lot easier sometimes. Just to make sure that the faces don't completely intersect, or they intersect just a little bit off right here. Ooh, what a problem that is, huh? That means that this, well, the fork must have changed a little bit when I was working with it, but that's fine, because what I can do is go to the vertices mode, select that. I just have to make a mental note that this face is not in line with that coordinate system, or that gizmo transfer coordinate. What do they call them here? It's called a transformation orientation. right? So, hey, that looks futuristic. It's a futuristic mount. Tab, Shift, H. So now I just have to make this one. What I can do here is do a select the sharp edges. Rather than go around select every one of those, I've already got them. I think the normals are right. I don't know why it looks so shiny. So, okay, and then take those and I'm gonna crease them for now. Then I can select the creases, right, and then bevel them so I can work with this. So Control 0. There's a little, you know, they're a little off, these vertices right here, but that's fine because I'm going to start just shaping it right now. I don't really want these. I forgot. I need to deselect those. Those I don't want the crease in. So when I go Control 3, it starts rounding out, right? So back to the vertices. The vertices in the Y scale, in the YY, a little bit there. Control Z. So scale, YY a little bit. Control plus, scale, YY a little bit more. That's good enough for Blender Pretender work. So Z, Tab, Alt, H, everything's back. And let's look at the reference photo. Good enough, right? I just got to be able to now scale everything in the YY so it looks thin enough. You can see the projects to there. Then I'll just move it up and down as I need it. It looks proportionally where it should be. A little lower than, right? The distance here proportionally looks. Let me see. Okay, I don't know. I always get used. It gets stuck in the grease pencil when I do the grease pencil. That's why. You have to now click escape, right, to do the grease pencil. When you do the grease pencil, sorry. So I'm going to select everything, grab it and just move it up. Right around there. Close enough. Scale YY, make it thinner the way it looks. Right? I'm going off the medium point, so it should have been fine. So I'm going to move it up a little bit more. Now I have to check what I did earlier, which is make sure that it wasn't intersecting. Now they're intersecting. So in the wireframe, AA with the circle select, and select every one of those. Move it up ever so slightly, and then go back into this shaded view. And it's also intersecting up there. It should not, because they're in the same plane. And they're not. They're just basically the faces are touching, and so that's going to happen with these programs, I suppose. They're going to get confused when these are basically in the same plane as to what they're going to show you or not, or hide. And I mean, you can't go to infinity, right, and get in the sharpest edge there. It's all made up stuff. This is way too sharp right here, but it'll be fixed. So when I do the bevels, because the bevels don't always get that sharp, they get nice and round a little bit. Okay, so that's the support for that. I'm going to take that support. Well, let me just isolate it because it's bugging me everything else. And I'm in the edge and select that edge, and then is it Shift G? Okay, and the crease. In the wireframe, I know I have them all selected, and then Control Bevel. A little bit. Get rid of the crease. Back to 0. And there. Now it's done. Alt H. Because it's the same as the... I just saw one of those mosquitoes that carry the Zika. Excuse me a second, I'm going to pause. Okay, I got the Mosquito. That doesn't mean it has Zika, by the way. I saw a Mosquito that is known to carry the Zika. There are no known cases here in San Diego. This is San Diego, is where I am. There are no known cases of any mosquito-generated Zika that I that I know about. But anyways, the mosquitoes do exist here, the ones that are known to carry. So whenever I see one, I swat it. Anyways, back to this. I was going to join it to this right here, Control Join. And it's the same thing, so now it's part of the frame. This one, I need to apply the modifier now. So the modifier gets applied. This is the mirror. Apply it because Control Z. I'm gonna undo that. What I always do is, just so that I don't have to do more work, is I take it, duplicate it, and move it to the junk layer. So that one still has the modifier applied, but back in the first layer, I have I have the the one that I'm going to proceed with. It probably has a different number, in terms of the number. This is the duplicate or whatever. This is the first duplicate. I should probably name it. I didn't name it initially. Block. And the other one is just frame 002 or whatever. And that is part of the frame already. Okay, so, and I can see the modifiers applied. So now I can continue because there is a cutout here for the little thing, the little gizmo, right? The gizmo right there for the gizmo, yeah. Probably starting from here, but I got to see the reference photo. And that one doesn't show it. And back into Blender, that one doesn't show it either. But there it is. So I have, like, for example, I have a loop cut that goes around right there. So it's a few, like an inch, let's say, down from that. Actually, the loop is already at an inch, so that's fine. So I'm gonna face. Let me select this one at the same time, and this one. I'm going to isolate them and select these at the same time and inset them. There. Let me go back to the unsubdivided view. I still have those faces selected. I'm going to get rid of the creases because some of that, copied through. Right? And this is one of those things where I would like to have a view that is flat, right? I have to have a view of this where it's flat, basically on this coordinate, on this transform orientation. I don't know that I want to spend the time to do that right now, but like in the time lapses, I will do that sometimes. I'll put a camera, and then I'll rotate the camera to that. I don't want to go over it and talk about it and everything. So what I'm going to do is just deal with it in this case. In the vertices. Here's why I want that. You see how they're, I know this to be like a bow tie because it's like a little bow tie that's happening here. Anyways, they're crossing each other. So I'm just going to select, make the circle smaller there, and select that. And in the transform orientation that I want to move is the X is that, or rather the Z and the Y is that plane that I want to move them in without messing everything else, right? Assuming that it's in the same plane. Actually, that's the case for the bottom, but not the case for the top. So, but it's a cutout, so I'll have to deal with that top one. So anyways, I'm going to stick to the bottom. So I have them both selected. And I'm going to do a grab, Shift, XX. So it moves around there. I hope that doesn't come through, but there's... let me see. There's other noises, I guess. Let me just leave it at that. Grab. What was it? Shift XX. There are other noises that I'm hearing, and I hope they don't come through into the recording. So at this point, I lost my point of reference. I'm sure everybody else that's watching this did as well, but there it is. So I'm moving them along. The other thing that, you know what, I could have done instead of doing that, Control Z, Z. Okay, I could have done just the double grab and just move along like that. So I have those two vertices selected, grab, grab. So what's happening is that they're moving. Yeah, I picked the wrong ones. You see that? It picked the wrong axis that it wants to go on. Control Z, 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 Z. I have to be, yeah, that one picked right. Let me go and be closer to this one. Grab, grab. That picked right as well. So now they're moving along, I guess, the line axis there, and they should have stayed. They're not. You see, they're not on top of each other. Let's go back to the 7. Come on. Yeah, that's kind of hard. Okay. They're not on top of each other. Well, you know what? Yeah, I think the lock does have to go all the way through, doesn't it? Or let me see the reference. Maybe I'm creating more work for myself without... It doesn't. Okay, so I'm creating more work okay. I'm going to ignore the bottom ones then and work off the top. It happens. So back to the face. On the bottom ones, Control plus, X face. Oh, that one there, face. There. So now I have to deal with these. They're not on the same face. These aren't. So I'm just going to choose this face as, because it's the bigger one, as the one for the transfer coordinate. I just made a transfer coordinate by pushing the buttons that you saw down there. And so here I'm going to call it lock temp. I really don't want to keep that one, but in case, so that I know the lock, the temporary, the little slope on that one. Okay, back to the vertices then. I'm just gonna scale them. Yeah, they should scale in the same axis. So here they are. Right around there. Actually, that one needs to go more. That one needs to come down more. Because from the reference photo here, it comes to a certain point here, but it doesn't go all the way through. Actually, I need this. I didn't even... Okay, now I need to go back and do some work here. Okay, sorry. I was trying to cut it. There needs to be Control Save. Control 0. Oh, I'm sorry, Control 3. Oh man, that's not gonna be good. I'm gonna select the faces right now and just delete them, because that's where I'm headed. So I'm gonna delete them because it's gonna mess with me right now as I try to do Control Save loops. So I'm gonna do some loops, and I'm gonna do one right here. Okay. And the vertices. This is just so that I don't go back and do some work. Basically, I forgot. And I didn't forget, I just didn't pay attention, rather. There. Okay, I'll leave that there. So this loop right here is, there's a reason why. Let me go a couple in like this. Okay, I'm going to go back to my, what was it, rear fork orientation. Select those. So that's the active one down there, right? And I'm gonna go grab Shift XX. Oh, wrong one. Grab Shift Z sorry, grab ZZ to that one, right there. And then since it's still selected, I'm gonna crease those. Now I'm gonna see how it looks. The unfortunate part, and here's where it is, the unfortunate, you see that? It creates more work for me. I have this done, the modifier's gone over here. It's still not the end of the world though, and I've done it in many of the videos in the time lapses. If I knew where I was going with it, and I had, that's what I mean by unscripted when I do these videos. If I had knew where I was going with it and I had already rehearsed it, I would know not to do that. And those videos are awesome. I love them because that's, you know, they save time and everything. Me, I'm just working it as I'm going. So because of this, you know, I think for me there's a value in this, at least when I watched other people's time lapse, because you see where they work themselves. It's like a maze. You work yourself to a certain location where you can't go any further, but then you know how to work back and get there. So for me, working back in this case is going to be I'm going to select that face and then just go Control plus and then XF, delete it. Because what I'm going to do is work with this one and then just mirror it over. And hopefully these, you know, it's close enough. In terms of the mirror, you lose some of the accuracy in the points over here that are over here, assuming that the modifier did a better job of mirroring them. Because whenever you mirror something, it's going to be based off of wherever you pick your center and all these things. So anyways, just keep that in mind. And you're looking for accuracy, this is not the better way to do it, but this has just got to look right. Oh, and that's the other thing. I should mirror it right now and then go forward from there because, well, first let me see if it's where I need it to be. No, I can't tell from there. And then from here, you know, it's, you know, a particular distance from, let's say, that the wheel there. So for that, I need to tab out, back into Blender here. I need to tab out of that, Alt-H everything. And so I know I need to go further. Just so that it looks proportionally correct. Let's say in that view. So it's a little tiny. So what? Wrong one. Well, here I'm going to select that. I'm going to select, go to the vertices, select that one, snap U. The reason I snap for that is because I'm going to use the grease pencil now to draw myself maybe a line right there. And the grease pencil is in 3D, so I'm going to give myself like a visual reference. And then when I look at it like this, I know that I have to go at least that much. Okay, that's it. And now with those two vertices selected, I'm get rid of the snap right around there. There, and the curve there is fine. I'm gonna just, because there's nothing that really would indicate it doesn't do that in the reference photos. So I can erase the grease pencil, Tab Shift H, back to where I need it to be. And so now, before I proceed with what I'm doing here, because it's going to get more complex, and I don't want to undo all of that, I am going to mirror it. So doing the same thing, back to the face. Oh well, first of all, I need the center. The center obviously is going to be that. I'm going to choose that edge as the center because these two vertices were snapped with the modifier, right? So my cursor's now there. Now with the face selected, Control plus. If I do one more plus, I'm going to exceed what I need. So in the wireframe, I can make sure I have everything. I do have everything. Okay, the cursor there, I'm going to hit the period, right? And that puts it, the gizmo back there. So Shift duplicate it, and then Control, is it Control M? No. Was it or is it? I forgot now. Alt M or Control M? One of those. I do forget. Okay, so select a mirror on the axis. And the axis is the ZZ on that transform orientation for the lock. Make sure that I have it. Oh, it is the rear fork, sorry. Not the lock, the rear fork. I had these on, so with this little thingamajig there on, I should, before I do anything, grab this, and I could see that it's pulling the other edges, so I know that they did merge, right? And then I know that since I have the normals, they kind of bug me sometimes, but the normals, it's very clearly showing me that the normals are reversed. So WF to flip these, right? And then I'm just going to erase the faces. So A, back to the shaded. Take these faces like I did before. Take all of these. XF. Back to the edges. And then select this one. Oh, Control Z. It selected every one of them. I think you can do Control F and it'll do the triangulated one. Let me see if I'm right in that. Just Control F. Nope. Or is it Shift F? No. I'm just guessing. There you go. It's Alt F. That triangulates it, but then you don't have your, you don't have your, the faces, your quads, the way you would like them, right? You can always go Alt here, see if the computer finishes, works it out for you, and it didn't. You can see that, for example, this one worked out, but this one did not. Control Z. What do I mean by that? In other words, in the faces, those, I know it's hard to see. Let me go in the wireframe. In the faces, those are one quad. These are another. There's always settings when you do the Alt-J to see which one. And so always check the settings. Sometimes I just get ahead of myself and then Alt-J. And probably the reason it didn't work it out is because of the oddity of this quad right here. Right? Anyways, there they are. So now I'm Control Save. Now I'm back having some sort of symmetry here, but then I gotta work back onto this lock. So before it gets any farther, let's see if we can get this going. Okay, let me see. So I have the rear fork transformation orientation, and now I have these to contend with. So very simply, I should probably just grab them. So on the X, right? Grab and Shift XX. Move them here. Rotate Shift XX. Because I'm going off the center. So go back. This is Control comma. Rotate Shift XX. Like about there. Scale those in. Right? Scale those in. Oh, that's gonna be kind of odd if I have to do a loop cut here because the symmetry won't be kept. And the reason I would need the loop cut is because of what you see happening here with the modifier. Let's see how we can. If I were to just take those and grab. I'm going to take these and then rotate Shift X. Now let's see. You can see some of the effects happening here already. That's because if I go in here, some of these are being twisted in a crazy way already. Rotate. Okay, I hope none of those noises come through. It's just my stomach is growling because I haven't eaten. Rotate XX. Sorry. Wrong way, right? Did I do that right on this one? No, I didn't do it right. I could see already that I didn't do something right there. So Control Z. That's fine. It was already off. I did something wrong there. But let me take those. Rotate Shift XX. Okay. Ultimately, I'm just gonna eyeball it to where it'll work better. So scale. Let me Control 3. Grab. Nope, wrong way. Grab. Okay, when it doesn't want to find out where it goes, right? Control 0. what I can do is do that one with the snaps on, right? I'm gonna go grab. So I think it divides it into 10. I haven't really counted all the way, but it's 1, 2, 3. I'm just gonna grab them. That's not gonna be good because then it's not going to. I'm just gonna have to do the loop. Control Z. There. It's done. The loop is done. I'm gonna put a loop here for now, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be symmetrical. Maybe the bottom ones are, but not the top ones. I can always test. For example, this coordinate, right? These 1.72 and 0.09 have to be the same as this one, but in the negative. So with those two already checked, they're 1.73. Right? Is that correct? They're fine. I'm fine. Okay, with a loop cut, these look to be fine then, right? No, they're changing a little bit. 208 to 2. That's fine. I'll take care of that later. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'll make myself a placeholder right now just by XE. Okay. There's these edges that remain here. Let me erase the vertices as well. XV. So there's a gap there, and when I finish this, I'm going to do the same thing that I did. Okay. Grab back here. Scale it in the preview here. I can get a better idea of what's happening. Scale it in some more. Okay, not quite where I want them. So I'm going to select the loop. There, now that's looking more round over there. Maybe that one. I'm going to get rid of the tab, the tab. I'm going to get rid of the snaps by hitting Shift Tab, right? Just lightly scale it in. All right. More or less where it looks like it's going to be uniform coming down this way. Now I'm just grabbing along the edges. Scale. I really don't want to cut another loop in here. So maybe up a little bit. And then by hitting Alt, I can stretch on that one. Okay. I think I'm going to call that good. There. Oh man, I just really didn't want to cut another loop in here. Let me see what happens if I just move those, grab on the X like that. Okay, and then rotate those on the Shift XX like that. And then grab Shift XX. Okay, I like that. That looks like it's got the curve and the little lock and the whole thing. Okay, tab out, Alt H. Just so that I can see the reference. Not this one, but this one. Not this one either. That one. So they're close enough. It actually looks very circular here. I don't have that. The only way I can do that is if I grab these, right? Which is going to change these. I could also do, let's see if this will work in the tools, or I think it's in the options. See if that will work. Grab, and it did work because they still have the symmetry. Let me grab it again. There. So now it looks a little bit more circular there, and I just saw the time and running on the hour now, so better hurry up. Grab, Shift XX, down here a little bit, grab, Shift XX. I'm going to flatten all these out here in a minute. Rotate, Shift XX. Because what's happening is that I'm basically moving them up and down on that XX axis, or rather there's a slope to this one that's not inherent in the transform orientation that I have. So I'm going to do something right now just to flatten them all out so that it looks the closest, I guess, would be. Yeah, it's not the cleanest thing to do either, but for example, I'm going to do it right now because I think I'm good with that. Well, no, I'm going to do it after this. I got to see what starts happening when I do this. I'm going to extrude these, and then in this axis, I'm going to pull it down. I was going to pull it down, and I was thinking about doing the process I was telling you about earlier, and pulling it down for the sake of keeping this face, but really this loop down here, I want to keep it flat with this one. There, even further. Actually, that it's not concern. It's. I thought it was going to be even down here in the bottom, and it is not. Tab, Shift H. Oop. Shift H. Shift H. Tab. I don't know why that's the case. I do have the rear fork orientation. It should have been flat. Anyways, what I'm gonna do is do scale XX0. There, it's flat with that reference point right now. So I extrude it again. I didn't need to do that. Control Z. So I went one too many. Now I'm just going to fill the faces in and select. I'm going to deselect. Selecting everything. I'm going to deselect those so I can go Control E, bridge edge loops. And there's the faces. Deselect those. And then Control B. Now back to this view. Now they should be fine. Now with that loop selected, along with this, I'm going to Control B a little bit. Okay, there. I'm wondering if there's going to be a view from here that's going to basically betray the fact that it's not a circle, because I still need to do the rod that goes through here, and the rod is going to be in a circle. And so it's not. I just eyeballed it. And there very possibly could be something that betrays the fact that it's not. I'm just eyeballing this really carefully here so that I can grab these and just move them over so it looks more circular. I really should have spent the time to give myself that orientation that I was talking about earlier with the camera, with the view. there. So I think that's what I'm going to do for that right there. Now to get these flat, like I was talking about. Oh, actually that's going to mess up the bevel, isn't it? That is going to mess up the bevel. Well, I'll just eyeball that too then. Because I beveled it already and they're not flat. There's a little lump to it and stuff like that. So anyways, what I was going to do there is extrude it and then just bring out an edge like that, right? I'm going to go into the wireframe, get rid of, let me get rid of, it's getting so busy now, but get rid of that. So ultimately what I have, see, that bevel is going to be a problem when I do what I do. So I'm going to grab that bevel and move it down some distance. I'm going to do this just to flatten it out. I'm going to pick the far points right there. I'm going to make a face, right? With that face selected, I'm going to go into the edge. Boom, boom, boom. Select all the edges that are basically intersecting that face in a perpendicular kind of manner. They're not perpendicular, but you know, close. And then W in the edge tools, I think it's this one, project. No, Control Z. W, edge tools. I've never worked with these. There. So it projected the closest endpoint to that face. It made them flat to that face that is that triangle, which is a extraneous triangle, right? I'm going to X, delete it. I just grabbed it to make sure that I had that one that only had those 2 points. Now, with this view, right, I'm going to, oh, wrong key. I'm going to select the faces XF. Right, and that's the reason I moved the bevel down, because when some of these moved up and down, they could have been overlapping. Didn't even turn off the merge. They could have even merged there if I had the merge, and it can be seen here that it's not cool. Like the whole thing is just not cool, right? They're not. So, like I said, I'm going to eyeball this bevel by just doing a grab and getting them close in this view. That's all. Now if I got rid of that bevel, in case somebody's wondering, the bevel offset the edges a little bit. So the edge on top would be offset from the edge on the bottom. It wouldn't be a flat face going in. Not a flat face, but the face itself would have basically an offset. So I would start losing certain things like that. And with the modifier, the only reason I'm doing it like this is with the modifier, and see, that one's different than this one. With the modifier and everything, who knows how it's, you know, it's going to start to look cartoonish. And right now, I want it to look like it's a piece of molded plastic. Control 3, Z, like that. Okay. Now there's a lock that goes in there. I may take, depending, once I do the rod that goes through here, let's see how it looks. Because I may need to do something with what happens underneath. In other words, take the face and continue it out. Let me show. Take that face and this and just continue it out there where it's hidden and I don't know what's going on in there. But for the most part, I just need it to look like there's a lock that goes through here. There's a little thing there. If you look at the reference too, that's the other thing. It's a lot smaller, a lot thinner. Let me see. It looks thin. So maybe it's one of those things that I need to do. Is just thin it out. And I could do that the same way that I did. Well, I already flattened everything. Excuse me. I already flattened everything here, so if I were to move those vertices, I'd have to use that transform orientation on, let me see, on these vertices. So I'm just gonna call that one temp. That's fine. And delete the face. If I were to move them on that, because they're kind of thick, and you know what they are? They just are thick. Why did I do that? So I'm gonna move them right now, just by eyeballing, more or less. So it's the ZZ. No, I won't be grabbing them if I am not in the wireframe. I won't be grabbing all of these. Scale, Shift ZZ. Oh, Control Z. What happened there? No, that's right, Control Z. I'm not gonna do the scale like that because these are going into nothing. So I'm just gonna grab them, I suppose. Get it closer. Also, I'm gonna guess at the circle. Oh, I didn't use the ZZ. There. I should have spent the time just to get a view that is flat to that. Okay, grab, Shift ZZ. 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 I know that's it's gonna be annoying a little bit, huh? Okay, grab, Shift ZZ. Oh, wrong one. I didn't have anything selected. Grab, Shift ZZ. Grab, Shift ZZ. And let's see how that's looking now. A little cartoonish over here. Grab, Shift ZZ. Okay. Grab, Shift ZZ. Oh, something happened there. Control Z. Okay. Grab, Shift ZZ. Let me just tab out, see how that looks. That looks thinner now. Now I'm just eyeballing the circular portion of it. This doesn't look that thin over here, so let me just grab these and see if I can just manipulate these. I'm gonna call that good. More work can be done to make this nice and round, but I'm gonna call that good for this. At least from the renders, you know. Yeah, more work can be done over here, but I'm gonna proceed. who knows? Who knows where I'm going to render from and all that. Okay, back to the view then. Actually, how am I going to do the curve? Tab. I'm going to select these two, Shift Snap U. So I'm going to add a circle from, circle there, and then move it along the transform orientation that I've been working on. So Tab, Shift, add a, it's going to be a curve. Yeah, I'm going to do a circle. Tabbing in the side view, I'm just going to rotate and get it close. Scale it down. In this top view here, not a top view, but it's like close enough right there. Another thing that can be done, I think, and to get these views is, you know, you go to the 7, and I think it's like the 8. It gives you an increments to start rotating. So if you knew what angle that was, that looks very close, you know, like the lines. So on the number pad, I was hitting the 8 on the number pad, which is the arrow. So it's basically rotating, and it's in the user preference. It'll rotate in certain increments. Anyways, I have everything selected for that circle. I'm going to go grab, shift, grab, shift, ZZ. Nope, wrong one. I'm using the temp. I want to go back to the rear fork. Right? Right. Grab, shift, ZZ. I'm just guessing the center, using these more or less to get the center, because I'm going to go back to the center, you know, using the center for transformation. I think I already had a center for transformations, but now I'm going to scale it down and just eyeball it. So my slot is not really a circle. It's very obvious. But I'm going to cheat it because this thing doesn't really have to move. Scale. There. It's very obvious, but what I'm going to do is just... so how does this circle work? I think here you go X segment. There, it's gone. It should... grab, shift, ZZ. Oh, it's got the different orientation. It's not the ZZ, sorry. I don't know if I messed it up already. I was trying to keep the normals from tilting so much like this, because what it's going to do is going to put a twist on... It's basically going to put a twist on my... on what I'm going to do, which is generate an object, right? So I'm just going to have to eyeball it now. There, eyeballing it. And then hitting this one, there is that tilt, right? Which is also, I think is the Alt-T. Is it the Alt-T? No. This one selected. Is it, or is it Control-T? In the wireframe, they really should be more or less flat because of the twisting that it's going to do. Control-T. Yeah, that's because it's like at an angle up. Control-3. Wrong one. That's close enough. Come on. Why does it do that? It's because it's V align. That's close enough. Okay, so now I'm going to take that one. I need to make that curve a little less. Is this the resolution here? I can't remember. Like this many. Maybe that many. Give it a depth. Make sure it's full. That much. And the resolution, give it 2. So there. That looks okay. I'm gonna let it go like this through. You know, that's like just, you know, faking the appearance that it goes through. Control save. It looks like it's where it should be, right? And I'm going to unhide everything else so it looks I'm gonna have to rotate the wheel. It's going right through the spoke. That's fine. I can fix that. Okay, now back to just the lock and that thing, Shift H. So I'm gonna duplicate it, move it to the junk layer, take this one. It looks thick enough, so I'm gonna just call it good. Let me save that, and then Alt C. It's a mesh from a curve. Now I'm gonna take that and take that, Control Join. So it just takes the properties now for that one. It's a little tight. See, once the modifier gets in there, it's a little, okay, so tab in there. So just take that one, link, X, vertices, get rid of every one of them. Make sure this is off now. Only very deliberately put this on because when they compound, they will merge and then you could be deleting work that you've already done. Okay, so back, tab out in the 0. That one, right? Shift duplicate, move it back to the first layer. So in the first layer, I'm in the curve, tab, everything selected, scaling it up. So now I'm gonna just go overboard with it for the modifier to put it more or less where it should be, right? Tab, Alt C, mesh from curve, Control Join. Ta-da! It's done. It's a little high though. Okay, it's a little high on this side. What I'm gonna do is rotate the whole thing a little bit more. Maybe I can get away with this like this right now. So tabbing in. Okay, and then with that one selected with the L key, right, selected. And I go to the wireframe, make sure Control comma in the center and then rotating. Okay. That looks somewhat good, and then grabbing it. Come on. Maybe this one will keep it. That's the transform. That should be the rear fork, yeah. Okay, there. It runs down into the bottom. I should have kept it at a slope. Okay, let's see how that looks. So we can call this good, right? There it is, the lock comes through. Both of these faces then need to be, yeah, that's not good. Both of these faces need to have an inset basically, but how am I going to do it? Because I have to do work to duplicate certain things, right? Like for example, these. I'll rather make sure I'm there again, Shift Snap U, and then go back to these vertices to here, right? Make sure the period is selected, duplicate, right? Control M on the X. Oh, I didn't do it. Okay, it's there, it's duplicated, so I'll Control M on the X. Yeah, because some of the mouse buttons, because I'm using the pad, some of the mouse buttons actually constrain it to some of these you know, axes, but I haven't gotten used to doing that. That's what I did right now. I just hit a mouse button. So with that loop and that loop, Control E, bridge edge loops, and that loop and this loop, Control E, bridge edge loops. Okay. The problem with that is it doesn't really translate or copy the crease. So back to the crease, back to looking somewhat symmetrical. Let me just check the normals. Make sure they're sticking out. That's good. Control save. Okay, that's good right there. Now I'm gonna inset tab. So there it is. Now I'm going to inset this face right here. Tab in. I'm gonna try to keep this. Now this can get me into trouble too. I was doing a bunch of stuff, and with that on, it could get me into trouble. But I'm gonna try to mirror the stuff that I'm doing right now. So it should be, you know, I should be grabbing on one side and it should be working on the other. Or rather, these need to go up, right? Off the center there, scale a little bit. Yeah, it's doing it. Okay, good. I'm just eyeballing these so that it looks like it's an opening. And they duplicated the crease that's already in there, so I'm gonna Control Z. So I should have had it all selected. I had only one. Okay, I have them both. So, I gotta make sure that I don't have duplicates because of that little extrude function that I just did by mistake. Okay, extrude. And now back in the Z. Because of the crease, that's actually working pretty good. All right. Now any render, so I'm going to grab Shift XX, grab Shift XX, like that. Rotate Shift XX, like that. In there I'll have to make stuff up, but I'm counting on the light not getting in there so much, so it gets kind of fuzzy and blurry and nobody cares. Likewise over here with the shadows and stuff like that. I mean, I'm really nitpicking it, but maybe it just, you know, it just gets blurry with the shadows and stuff. Okay, Control save. Almost done. What's next? What's left? What's left? What's left is the little lock. That's this. Oh, what did I do? Minimize it again. Is Windows trying to be very smart. Smart Windows. The little lock is this one right here. Okay. And that looks like it should be very simple, straightforward kind of thing. Let me tab in there. Let me take this face, duplicate it, P selection, tab in there, right? Now, Control 0 for now in the V. Select them all and let me get rid of the crease for now, just so that, right? There. So I'm just looking to the side and see how it looks. Right? Grab. It's kind of like a little. Right now everything is getting like warped because I'm like in this view, but I'm trying to be quick about it. So everything that I'm moving, if I were to look at it in the side view, it's starting to lose that plane, but I'm going to flatten it out here in a minute. Just keep that in mind. So seems to go out that way. Okay, I can think I can have an idea there. Control R, like that. Control R, like that. I'm just guessing at how this thing's gonna work out in the end. Like that. Okay, and then this one's gonna round out. I'm gonna select everything. I still have that transform orientation, everything AA. Actually, I don't need the rear fork. I'm going to flatten them out according to which one? According to the temp. I think it's a temp. The temp is the one that has, yep, that's the one. AA scale ZZ 0. Okay. Now I'm going to extrude it. Okay. Okay, select the sharp edges. That should give me gets me every single one of them. Okay, I don't need that one. That one, that one. This one, I'm gonna see how it looks there. And then crease it. Okay, now go Control 3. So it's just, you know, the shape of a lock. It's not looking the way it should. Okay, grab Shift ZZ like that. Grab Shift ZZ like that. This is not a quad anymore. It's like something odd. Okay, I'm gonna put it over there and then just cut another loop. Grab Shift ZZ and then bring it like this. Okay, there you go. Now it's looking like it's a little stylized like that, and then crease it. So now it's looking more like the lock. Control save. Let me see. I'm probably at an hour and a half long, so I'm gonna have to hurry up with this. So it does a little loop like that, and then those are design considerations. I'm sure somebody thought long and hard on how this is going to look nice, inviting for people, and then also function as a lock, like a lock. Function as a lever, rather, for the lock. There. Okay, that's it. That's it for the lock. Doesn't need much more work. I'm going to grab everything and just lift it up slightly so that it can cast a little bit of shadow down into it. Only if there was a view through here. So for that, what I'm going to do is just to make the video longer. No. Face. Let me see, Z. That face right there. Shift, snap, U. Okay. Now, on the 3, I'm going to add a cylinder. Control 0. Oh, come on. Control Z. Shift, add a cylinder. So the vertices is going to be 6. Just make it really tiny. Really, really tiny. Like that, maybe. Right? And then rotate it. Eyeball it so that it's basically the pivot point where the lever is. And there. No, so I want to see how it looks right now. There, that's the pivot point for the lock. It's done. I'm going to select all the creases. Select one edge. and then Shift G, crease. It got them. I'm gonna Control B slightly, and then get rid of the crease. Okay, tab, that's the lever, Control save. Now with this one, I'm going to do the same thing. Shift G, select the creases, right? I'm going to go to wireframe just to make sure that I got the creases that I want, and then Control B. Okay, and then get rid of the crease and see how it looks. Sorry, wanted to tab out, see how it looks. A little something happening here, but I'm going to ignore it. Sometimes when you have that extruded plastic, it looks funny. And then here, it does look a little super weird. So this is probably the last touch-ups here before this comes to an end. What is happening? ZA. Well, maybe the Z here. Control 0. Let's see what's happening here. What can we do to fix this? And the problem that's happening here is I'm just going to join these vertices. I think these vertices are, so Alt M at center. And then there's another one here. Alt M at the last. Control 3. Z up, tab. Okay. There's still something funny happening here. Tab in. Control 0. That's this right here. Come on. Put the period in here. So I'm going to have to do the same thing to the other side. Duplicating. So what I'm going to do is Control, so take all of these in the wireframe. I can see them. Alt M at last. There. Z tab. Control 3. Nicer. Right there. Okay, that's good enough for me. Do the same thing quickly over here. Tab in. So Control 0. What I did is I merged these. Alt M at center. Right? Forgot that one. Where is it? That one right there. That one and that one. Alt M at last. At last. And then let me make sure I know which one I'm going for. There you go. In the wireframe to make sure I got them all. Okay, there. Alt M at last. Okay, there. Control save. Okay, so that's the lock. This is it for this video. I'm going to look for a picture. That what I've been doing is showing the picture is like how close. Oh, no, this is not it. Look at that over there. I wonder why it's doing this over here. This came out okay. This did not. And oh, I know what happened. Maybe it's already, I'm already an hour and 40 minutes long. So I'm just going to tab in here and show how I'm going to fix that, because I keep saying that that's the way to actually get, to be productive and stuff. But what I'm going to do is Z, right? I'm going to link that and hide it. When I say link, I just use the L to select it. Anyways, back to the face. Select that one. Control plus. Back to the very last edge loop there before the bevel. I think that's what's going to work. And then X face, right? So select that one. Go Control. Oh, wait. I need to set my cursor back to the edge. And that's because I had that on. That's why. And it moved the vertices that the program believed was the vertices that I was moving when I extruded. Okay, Shift Snap to the center of that one. Now back to the faces. I'm going to select that one. Control plus. So that should be the very last edge loop there. And with, let me see, I'm just making sure. Okay, with this selected, I'm going to shift duplicate it. Then with the period selected so that it works off of that, I'm going to go Control M in the X and then accept it. Okay, I know that the normals are flipped because it always does that, WF, just to flip the normals, and then I can always check it just to be thorough. There it is. So back into the wireframe, I can grab it and do this to make sure it takes all the other edges to make sure that the merge function happened and it worked fine. So there it is, Control 3, Tab. So there's the lock, goes in here, does this, the whole thing. That should render fine, I think. With a little stylized lever for the locking. Control save. What else? What else? I think that's it. So anyways, thank you for watching. I think what I've been doing for these images is basically adding the principled shader, and I'll show that later on. But that's one thing I'm going to do. I'm not going to record that. Put the principled shader so that it looks like it's somewhat what I was trying to duplicate. I just realized there's something else. I forgot to put the little box in here, but that should be very simple, just to add a little box that attaches down here. So thank you for watching, and next video I'm going to try to work on the kickstand. Thank you. Bye.